why LightSurge Solar started this podcast and why every homeowner should care. And let me ask you a very honest, perhaps even uncomfortable question. Why are there so many homeowners today, people just like you, who secretly regret installing solar? Please think about it. Suppose solar is supposed to be the ultimate freedom. It's supposed to make life easy and eliminate the stress of the grid. Stop the endless cycle of buying fuel and noisy generators. But what we get is almost the opposite. Yet, we walk down our major streets and you find people who have spent millions of naira or thousands of dollars and they are still living in frustration. They are still living in darkness around 2 a.m. because their batteries died. They are still arguing with their families about why can't I turn the TV off and fan at the same time? Why can't I turn the AC and the water pump at the same time? These are questions that people still ask, because if you install a system that cannot turn on these things at the same time, you will be in problem. To be like those using, what are they calling it in Nigeria, meter. Those using prepaid meter, they can, if you are leaving their house, they will off everything. Even when they come back, they will just on one because their meter is going. That is not supposed to be the way with solar. Solar is supposed to be very, very reliable, and there is still so much confusion. And why is there still so much regret? Now the problem is, more often than not, is not in solar panels or the brand or the quality of the battery. The problem is a massive gap hole in understanding. People are buying technology that they don't know how to drive. Just imagine you buying a big, let's say you buy the latest phone and you don't know how to use it. It is very, very frustrating. This is exactly why this podcast exists. So we aren't here to sell you a box. We are here to change how you think about energy forever. So I welcome you to LightSurge Solar. So who am I and why should you listen? So my name is Austin. My name is Austin Ogota, and I'm the one anchoring this LightSurge Solar podcast. So at LightSurge Solar, we're in the field every single day. We are talking with homeowners, with business people, with retirees. We've even seen a recurring painful pattern. People don't fail because of solar is weak. They fail because they are careless in managing their solar. So they fail because they never touch the truth. They fail because they manage their solar with a lot of reluctantness. So in this industry, filled with sales talks and technical jargon, the average homeowner is left vulnerable. So you are told what to buy, how many kVA to buy, you need this lithium battery, you need this number of this amount of battery, and so many things that they usually tell you when you want to buy solar. And when you are told all these things, you just have to manage it. So I started this solar because I believe that an uninformed customer is a victim of waiting to happen. An uninformed customer is a victim waiting to happen. But an educated homeowner is a master of their own comfort. This shows you shortcuts to mastering solar without the engineering grammar, without the technical jargon. Here we'll break it down piece by piece. So let me tell you what we see happening in homes across the country, across all streets, even your own street. Now imagine a homeowner. I call him Mr. Emeka. He is excited. He has saved up money. He has done his research and he finally installed a beautiful solar system. You know, we that are into solar, when somebody asks you for quotation, you know that sometimes or most of the time they will not buy. It's just like normal marketing. If 100 people ask you for, give me a quotation, and you say, okay, what do you want to power? They say, I want to power light, I want to power my fans, I want to power AC, blah blah blah, and then you give them quotation of say 2 million or 3 million, or if it's a small system, 1.5 million. When he does all these things, and then he'll now tell you, okay, let me start waiting, let me start saving up, and then he saves and saves and saves, and he finally got a beautiful solar system. Now for the first 2 months, He lives in paradise. He lives in cloud nine. He thinks that he is in heaven because everything is working well. He just come back and on. If there is no light, he on his solar system and then he is happy. He's posting on social media about how finally he got off the grid. But then the honeymoon ends. Suddenly, the batteries don't seem to last as long as they did the first week. The inverter started making beeping noise, and yes, as if something is very wrong with it. Whenever the fridge kicks in, it makes that noise. Now his wife is frustrated because she can't use the microwave when the sun isn't out. so she, instead of her to use the microwave anytime, so she's waiting for around 12, 1, 2 when the sun is hot. It is very frustrating. Imagine that you want to eat food in the morning and you are waiting for when the sun is hot, so you'll be fasting throughout the morning. This is very frustrating. Then come the world, we hear far too often that solar is not worth it. Solar is a scam. You should just stay with your generator and be buying your fuel. All these are tantrums that we hear almost every time. Then we sit down with people like Mr. Emeka and we ask simple questions, and the tragedy becomes clear. The frustration becomes very crystal. We began to see the problem with that system that he got. Some questions that we asked him was something like this: what was the load design for this system? Number 2, what is the depth of discharge set on your batteries? Did anyone explain the difference between peak load and continuous load? You know the answer. He was mute. He was silent. He could not give anything. He could not give us a convincing answer. Now, as you know, you understand. So there was no guidance. There was no education. He was sold the product, but he wasn't giving a solution. Oh my God. So in LightSurge Solar, we don't just sell you a product. We give you a solution. A solution means that you can apply it every time and it will work. It's like a templated system. So you don't need to be calling us from the office. You don't need to be calling our installers. We teach you how the system works. We sell you not just a product, but we sell you a solution. Now, talking about Mr. Emeka, he was left completely alone with an expensive decision and no manual for success. So now this brings us to the heartbeat of the entire podcast series. Now, this podcast exists to protect homeowners from ignorance, not to sell them products. I want you to hear that clearly. So my goal isn't to get you to buy more panels, to buy extra battery. My goal is to make sure that next time you talk about solar installation, you are the most informed person in the room. Hope you get that. That anytime you talk about anything related to solar, that you are the most informed person around. So when a homeowner truly understands the why and the how of solar, they spend less money. You stop buying things you don't need just in case. They make better choices. You learn how to spot a cheap battery that will fail in a year versus a quality battery that will last 10 years. Their system lasts longer because you know how to treat the system. Exactly. So the system, you treat the system well and the system treats you well in return. Now, the knowledge gap is the missing component in 90% of solar installations today. That is why we put this podcast together. We put it together so that we can help you understand. Now, let me tell you the 3 pillars of LightSurge Solar. Now, number 1, solar is like a building. It's like building a house. So you will never tell a contractor, just build me a house and walk away. I would do that. No, you would not. You will tell him how many rooms you need, what would the foundation made of. These are the things that you will want to know, and also the contractor want to know. You will be asking him questions like, what can my budget afford? Can I afford Italian tiles? Is it Spanish tiles? Or are we going for local ones? You understand? There are so many questions that you are asking, and then you are being asked when you are about to build a house. You don't just tell an engineer, take money, go and build me a house. No, there are specifications to it. However, people are wise when they want to build a house, but when it comes to solar installations, people just say whatever they want. Yet every day people say to solar installer, just give me a solar for a 3-bedroom flat. Now this is a dangerous way to shop. A 3-bedroom flat where people use air conditioner 24/7 is a completely different engineering project than a 3-bedroom flat where people use only fans and LCD bulbs. So this podcast will tech you the architecture of energy. So we will show you how to audit your own system at home, so that you can tell an installer what exactly you need, rather than letting them guess what your money can afford. So number 2 pillar, solar is a partnership. So most people think that solar is a sell it and forget it appliances, just like other equipment like a toaster or an AC. Even AC itself, there is still maintenance required. But people don't treat it that way. Solar is a partnership between 2 parties. Now, party A is the installer. Their job is to design a balanced system with quality components. Party B, however, is the homeowner. Your job is to manage the energy that the system provides. Now, if any of these parties fails or compromises their job, a big problem have just occurred. Now, let me start with the installer. Now, if the installer does a great job but the homeowner uses the system unwisely, like running a pumping machine at midnight on low battery, the system will inevitably fail. Now, conversely, if the homeowner is wise but the installer uses fake wires, the system will fail. Okay, you can check our LightSurge animated series. Now we have an animated series that we talk about this. So in one of our animated series, we talk about the dangers of using undersized wires. The title of that series is I think something around your house is trying. I missed the name. So please it's around wiring and your house burning. You understand? So please just find that series and then you continue from there. So now having known the 2 parties, now education is the bridge that makes partnership works. So what we want to teach you your own part of the deal, so that you can hold the installer accountable for theirs. So everybody should know the part they play in this our engineering project called powering your home with solar system. Now, the 3rd pillar of this podcast is navigating real homeowner reality. Now, there are things that happen in real homes that you won't find in sales brochures. So why does the system behave differently during rainy season? And one thing that we have found out in our years of studying, of researching and being in this space, is that every house is different. Just like the example I gave before, a 3-bedroom flat that they turn like 5 AC on is very different from a 3-bedroom flat that they just use only fans and fridge and everything. You understand? I hope I'm making sense. I know I am. So why does the system behave differently in rainy season? These are the questions that you need to ask. So what is the homing sound from the inverter? What is it? So when a red light beeps, is a sign of disaster, or is it just a warning sign? So you need to know all these things so that you will become grounded in what you are supposed to do. So many homeowners live in a state of low-level anxiety. They're just constantly checking the battery monitor, worrying if they are using too much or too less. So this podcast is designed to answer those everyday practical questions, so you can live in peace, not in fear whether your system will die, whether your battery will not be enough, etc. etc. So let's clear the air on few things right now. Let's clear the air. Now, there are some dangerous ideas floating around the cost and the money people use in getting a solar system. The myth number 1, that means what is false, the wrong idea. Number 1, the installer knows everything. I don't need to learn. it is a very wrong idea and a wrong mindset. You cannot just come and say the installer knows everything. Let them just come and give me, install the system and then just give me. I don't need to learn. It is very, very bad. That is how people's systems spoil. That is how your system become very efficient. Now let me tell you the truth. Installers are often under pressure to give you the lowest price to win the job. Exactly, because so many people, before they install a solar system, homeowners I'm talking about, they will take a quotation from here, take a quotation from here, take a quotation from here. There was one job that I did, one job I submitted a quotation for. Up front, the woman told me I have gotten 3 quotations from 3 installers. I was like, why making me the fourth? What is the benefit? Now, invariably, the woman may, with all due respect, she may be looking for the lowest price, and the installer can do it for her at the lowest price. At the lowest price. It is very, very dangerous. So if I put my price at the lowest price, I will win the job. However, that job I'm winning, the money that she will bring, since it's the lowest price, it will not be enough for a quality system. So I'll end up compromising the system, maybe using low quality wires or buying things that are substandard, so that I can just show her that she have light in the house. But that is the problem. So if you don't know the basics, you might cut corners. You might watch people, installers like us, cut corners if you don't know what cable quality is like, if you don't know what earthing is. And we are not saying you should come and learn solar installation as a homeowner. We are just saying learn the basics so that your system can serve you better. The second myth that I want to talk about as this podcast continues is, once installed, it will always work. This is another myth. This is another lie that people believe. This is another untrue idea that people say they must believe. Once I've installed solar, everything will work. My dear, it is not like that. Now, let me tell you the facts. Now, the fact is, solar is a living system. Just like most appliances, they don't just, it is not just plug and play forever. No, it is not like that. I know it is not like that. By experience, I've seen it's not like that. Now, you need light maintenance, smart usage to hit that 10 or 12 or 20 year mark that solar promises. Yes, your panel, the warranty is around 20 year warranty. Your batteries, lithium batteries is around 10 years, 8 years, you understand? So your tubular batteries is around 4 years. So your inverter is around 3 years, 4 years. So these things can reach this mark only if you know how to maintain them. Give them smart maintenance. I hope you are hearing me. Now, the third myth I want to talk about is more money always means better system. Oh my God, this one is very bad. Now, more money does not mean better system, because that 5 million solar installation that you did, is actually worth 3 million. And now, where did the other 2 million go? It is not just in workmanship, like I was talking in one of our animated series. Sometimes the other money, the installer have used it to buy some latest things in the market for himself. I've gotten the latest gadget because of the use of standard things, and then you paid so much. You are thinking that more money is more quality. No, more money is not always more quality. Now, I've seen people spend so much money, like 3 million, on a system that was poorly designed. It was worse than a 1.5 million naira system if it was properly balanced. Now, understanding this saves you money than any discount ever will. So education saves you money than discount. No, people can be faced by, say, I want to give you discount, I will be happy that giving you discount, not knowing that maybe the prices have been inflated by 30%, and they're not giving you discount of 5%, so they are still having 25% with them. Now, understanding these things saves you money. So, practical advice for homeowners. So, if you're a homeowner listening to this, so whether you already have your solar or you're thinking how to go about it, in this first week, there are things that you must put in place. Number one, stop being afraid of the tech. You can think that solar is high tech. Of course, it's high tech, but you must stop being afraid. of the tech, and you don't need to be an electrician, you don't need to be a solar installer, you just need to be a conscious consumer. So you must start asking why. If an installer tells you that you need 4 batteries, you ask them to show you the math. Exactly, ask them, why do I need 4 batteries? They should be able to explain your load calculation, should be able to size your system properly, so that they tell you the exact reason why you need 4 batteries. They should be able to tell you, okay, maybe you need 4 batteries because you want a longer backup time, or maybe you want to go off grid, or if you don't use 4 batteries, your present load will not be, you will not carry it, this system will not carry it as long as you want if you don't add extra batteries. So the batteries are your is where you rely on if the sun goes down. And if you are using your system at night and you are using so many things, you need more battery so that it can, at least you are supposed to be giving convincing answer to know that this thing is going very well. Now, another thing that you must know is that you must find a trusted source. Now, you must surround yourself with information that isn't just trying to sell you a product. Most times when people start thinking about solar, the first thing they start thinking about is how much is panel, how much is they don't even think about no matter how much is panel, how much is battery, and then they now call you, they now do research, they now search on Google, they now see prices. That is how most people start. But I know that you are smarter than most people. So this podcast is that source that we are talking about, finding a trusted source. So this podcast is that source. So we are going to be your insider friend in the solar industry. So you may be wondering why we do this. Now let me tell you briefly. Stop wondering why we do this. Now if you sell solar, I want to talk to my people now, so that's why I'm taking my time. So if you sell solar, then why are you spending so much time teaching us how to be skeptical? Somebody might be asking. It is simple. Now at LightSurge Solar, we also sell solar, but for this podcast, our goal is not to sell solar. Our goal is to educate homeowners so that they can maximize their system. And we also believe that an informed homeowner is a protected homeowner. So we would rather get you educated for 6 weeks before you spend a single kobo than we try to sell you something for 6 weeks, and after 6 weeks, after we've sold you the thing, you now realize it is a bad investment. One of my other pain points why I started this series, because the maintenance that people call us for is getting too much. Some things that homeowners are supposed to know, and when we teach, maybe they can forget, and then they will be calling. So this is the goal. So those people that patronize us, they know we always teach them the basics. This podcast is for other people. Maybe your solar installer did not teach you the basics, so this podcast is going to teach you what you need. So our foundation is built on transparency. So we believe that when the industry becomes more transparent, everyone wins. The scammer disappears, and the quality that we provide, it goes up, and the homeowners they also thrive. So I want to leave you with the image of a different kind of homeowner. So we work with people who came to us completely broken, confused by the jargon and disappointment by previous installations. Now, when they started to learn, we started to teach them new things, how to really know how the system worked. Everything changed. Their confidence returned. You understand? So they stopped checking the battery monitor every 5 minutes. Now they now know exactly how much power they can use on their system. They now know the depth of discharge. Now nothing magical happened to the sun. They just simply became informed customers. Now that is the transformation that we want to show you here. Now if you are a homeowner or you ever plan to be one, this podcast is for your new home. So if this introduction resonated well with you, please hit the like button. It sounds simple, but it tells the algorithm that this information is very important, and it helps homeowners, other people, to find us before they make expensive mistakes. So subscribe to LightSurge Solar Podcast right now. We are going to be bringing our podcast maybe twice a week or 3 times a week, because there is really much that you need to learn, or latest every week. So we are going into deep topic dives. We are going deep into some topics that you would like your battery life, inverter myths, and how to spot a bad installation. So do you have a solar horror story or a question that you have been afraid to ask? Please drop it in the comments. I read everything. I respond to the one I can. Your question might just be the focus of our next episode. I'm Austin Ogota, and this is LightSurge Solar. Without confusion, let's get started.